Good evening, channel members. Welcome to Urban Corner with Manny and Marianne. We have a very special guest for you guys this afternoon. Us for Urban Corner. Manny, how was your weekend? Did you have a blessed Resurrection Sunday?
Had a beautiful resurrection. Beautiful resurrection.
That's good. I had a blessed time with family and loved ones. We have a very special guest today. Very glad he has granted us this interview. The reason I wanted to land this interview is to enlighten our channel member regarding building inspection. So, Manny, why don't you give a little introduction before I introduce our guest and we dive into the questions?
Not a problem. A building inspector is an authorized, unofficial, is authorized official who examines construction sites and existing structures to ensure they comply with local, state, and national building codes, zoning ordinances, and safety regulations that they inspect projects at various stages. So in other words, what I'm saying is without the building inspector, you don't have no confirmation whether or not this building is properly built. The building inspector is the man or woman who makes sure that everything is done correctly.
Okay, thank you for that introduction, Manny. Another word to simplify it, the building inspector is the last defense that gives the approval stamp. So why don't I introduce our guest, and then I will ask 3 questions, Manny will ask 3 questions. Like that, we can make the process a little bit more simplified so our viewers could understand the process. Good afternoon, Brother Dafa. Thank you for granting me this interview. Would you please say hello to our channel member?
Hello, how's everybody?
Manny, did you hear him?
Yes. Is there a way you can bring them up to the mic a little closer?
Let's see if I could add the volume up.
And I want to know, can I give them a warm welcome?
Yes, please. While you give him a welcome, I'll add on the volume.
All right. Without further ado, we have someone who knows what they're doing. Okay. They've been a building inspector for quite some time. Okay. And they've been certified by all the people that make sure that they know what th're doing. And without further ado, I would like to introduce this inspector.
For that warm introduction. I'll allow him to say hello to our channel member once more. I added more volume. Go ahead.
I hope you can hear me now. How's
Loud and
everybody?
clear.
Loud and clear, indeed. Okay, Manny, why don't you dive into the very first question to ask him?
Not a problem. What is an inspector? What is inspecting structures mean? Let me make sure I clarify myself. Sir, what exactly do you do?
Well, it's very simply, we examine structural quality, fire safety, and overall safety of residential, commercial, or industrial buildings.
Thank you for that. So, the second question I have for you, what does a plan review means? What does that mean?
See, before construction begins, inspectors often review blueprints and plans to ensure they meet legal requirements and codes. In a nutshell, that's what it means.
Okay, Manny.
Okay. The next question I want to ask, what does a site visit mean? Exactly what does it mean and what do you do on that site when you come to visit?
Well, when we visit, we conduct field inspections at key intervals, like things like footings and concrete slabs, framing, and insulation. I've just kind of like summarized it. There's a lot more to it, but I just summarized it this way.
Thank you. And then for my next question, number 4, what does system inspection mean? What does that mean?
Oh, simply put, it means we verify that electrical, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning systems are installed correctly and safely.
Okay, Manny.
Okay. Then the next question I would like to know is, what does enforcement mean? What do you do why would enforcement need to be brought apart? And how do you get it done? How do you go up? What steps do you use to enforce whatever you need to enforce?
Well, we issue violation notices, stop work orders, or approve the next stage of construction.
Okay.
Okay. And what does final approval means? What does that mean?
For final approval, it means that we would have issued certificates of occupancy confirming a building is safe for use. So that will be the last stage. Then after that, then it means that you're good to go.
Oh, thank you so much. Manny, can you bring yourself up? Your chin is cut off.
I'm sorry, sis.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brother, for clarifying those 6 steps for us. I greatly, greatly appreciate you giving me this interview. I know I've been trying to get it. It was last minute, and it's greatly appreciated. I hope we could maybe in the future land another one, and maybe yes,
You're always welcome. Thanks for having me.
Marianne,
so
I want
much.
to ask you one more question. This is okay. It's okay.
Okay, Benny, what question do you want to ask me?
What's the difference between a building inspector and a home inspector?
Well, we're gonna break that down.
Oh, okay. No
We'll
problem.
break that down. We'll break those 2 down because his time is limited.
Right.
Promised him it was going to be 6 questions. Thank
Okay.
you. I hope maybe in the future I could land maybe do a walkthrough so we could actually see the process of an inspection. But once again, we greatly appreciate your time and effort. I'm gonna let
You're
you
welcome.
say goodbye to our viewers, please.
All right. Sorry I couldn't stay for a lot longer. This is a short notice and I had a lot to do. So hopefully next time I come around, I'll be able to explain into detail a lot further. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, Manny. So I love that last touch up you had. Building inspector versus a home inspector. So why don't you
Break it down.
let's break it down. A
Okay.
building inspector are employed by government agency to ensure new construction or renovation are complete with minimal legal safety code. Why don't you
Right.
break down to them what does home inspector mean?
Okay. A home inspector, basically what I did was I did my little bit of research. A home inspector focuses on the condition, of the property. They look for visual problems, defects, maintenance issues that a buyer should know about. In simple terms, a home inspector will ask about what's wrong with the house. Now, can I go into detail about what the building inspector does?
Okay, you could go ahead. You could
Okay.
dive into that a little bit.
A building inspector focuses on code, safety, and legal compliance. They check whether a building or construction project meets the rules and can be approved. Okay. A building inspector is going to ask, does it meet code?
Okay. Now, Manny, he did have a heavy accent. So
Right.
before we close the show,
Mm-hmm.
I jotted as he respond to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of go into detail to what I'm going to do my 3 and then you could do your 3. So
Okay.
one of my questions is to him is what does plan review means? And then he explained to us should we do it in order? Should I let you go first? I don't want to throw you.
Nah, go ahead and ask the question.
Okay.
You good.
Plan review, he explained, is when the building inspector gets the blueprint, they review it, they make sure everything's in place before they actually come out physically
Mhm.
um, and inspect. So go ahead, do the first one. I
Let
wanted
me-
to kind of
let's
keep
let's
it in
talk
order.
about that. Let's
Yeah.
dive deeper into that. Okay, first thing, let me turn this fan on real quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
So it's important um, about the plan review. That's
I'm
to
back.
okay.
Okay, so
I
the
was
first thing.
breaking down the plan review.
Mm-hmm.
So you have you have the blueprints that
Right.
are given to an inspector. The
Right.
blueprint or examine the
Mm-hmm.
view to make sure everything's in compliance with the
Right.
law before someone physically come out. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Um, building inspection stages are the specific points in time during a construction project or building renovation when a
Okay,
license.
so why don't you give them the first question? That's why I wanted to go in
Oh,
order.
you want me to go over my question? My
Yeah.
question was,
What
what
was
does
the
inspection structures mean? Okay.
and
What
then because he had
inspectors?
an accent, so let's kind of give them to them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. The answer I came up with was building inspection stages are the specific points in time during construction projects or building renovations when a licensed building inspector must come to the site to verify that all the work complies with all applicable building codes, zoning laws, and safety regulations. These stages are required before the next phase of work can legally be continued. The most common stages are as follows. Stage one, plan and review and permit issuance. The inspector or plan review team checks the submitted drawings and documents to make sure they meet code before any work begins. Stage two, footing and foundation inspection. The inspector verifies that the holes, footings, and concrete foundation are properly placed, sized, and reinforced. Stage three, rough inspections. This includes separate or combined checks of plumbing, electrical, and mechanical systems before they are covered by walls. Stage four,
Okay,
framing. I'm sorry,
Manny,
right? Mm-hmm.
you're giving them all in lump. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going into mine because my next question was to him. What does system inspection mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
he had a heavy accent, we're trying to break it down. So I jot.
Right.
He said, is to inspect the HVAC,
Mm-hmm.
inspect the system to make
Mm-hmm.
sure everything is safety and efficient and
Mm-hmm.
comply with standard um, by law,
Right.
the state. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to give it to them as minimum. We don't want to overload them so they can really comprehend what he was
Right.
saying. And he
Right.
spoke a little fast and with his accent.
Mm-hmm.
And so why don't you do number 5? What was your question for him, number 5?
What does enforcement mean?
Okay. Did you jot down what
Hold on.
enforcement mean?
I'll have it
I'm
in two
sorry, I should
seconds.
ask you to jot down while we're going.
That's okay. That's okay. I
Because
got
I
it right
jot
here.
down his response while he was going.
Okay. No problem. My answer to that would be simple as this. Okay. First of all, what does enforcement mean? Let's use common sense here. The first part is it's got to be a rule. Enforcement means it's backing up a rule. It's backing up a law. So let's use common sense here. So that means immediately we know that there's some type of accountability whenever we talk about enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So what does enforcement mean? Okay. Enforcement means this.
So from his response, he
Mm-hmm.
said enforcement is like they want to make sure um, where they go out to do the inspection, they are meeting legal code. So it is their job to either approve or disapprove or give a citation. That was his response. I mean, he spoke fast,
Mm-hmm.
got that out of that.
Well, let me break it down in layman's terms.
Go ahead, please.
In other words, hold on, make sure I'm right. All right, good. I want to make sure I'm good. All right, now, in other words, it's just like your child. If you tell your child, hey, I don't want you to go in the refrigerator and grab some water or milk because you left the cap off the top of the bottle, and you are punishment for 3 weeks, and then go back and do it again. They're then being held accountable. That's what we're talking about when we say enforcement. Okay, you cannot bypass, get around, sneak around. You have to abide by the rules. And if you're not, then you will be held accountable. Enforcement comes with accountability.
Mm-hmm. So, and then my sixth question to him, what does final approval mean? And he stated that is the final stage. This is where everything is met in compliance to law regulation. And then this is where the occupancy certificate is given. Now, he was pressed for time, but we could go back to reference to the deputy chief, which stated it takes 6 months to get your occupancy of certificate. And sometimes he sees it happen even a little faster or if it's longer because it's a people driven process. So meaning as involved as you are, you could really determine how fast that process goes.
Now,
So
for the people in the back, let me break down what Marianne is saying. She's saying basically, you control the pace and the process, how fast the process is to get your certificate of occupancy.
pretty much based on the deputy chief, someone who is voted into position, yes.
You basically are saying, okay, what Marianne is telling you guys is that it can be an open and shut case, but you have to follow the steps properly. You can't go
You
around the
can't
bush.
jump, yes.
You
There's
can't
no
do no
bypass one
shortcuts. No,
step, yes.
no shortcuts. No, nothing. You have to do it straight down the middle. And if you can't do it straight down the middle, expect trouble. Expect delay. Expect the ball moving, the goalpost moving of the goalpost. Expect lies. Expect excuses. Why? Because you're not doing your due diligence in the inspection. Now, is it the job of an inspector to fail you? No. If anything, especially in a small black town, they encourage black entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
So they're
then,
not.
I believe these people are doing their job. They have integrity. They're not aiming to target anyone. If you're not in compliance, they have to fail you, or they have to give you a notification where the notification stops the process, stop you moving forward until you meet the compliance.
And please keep in mind, if I'm a business owner and I'm trying to work with the city officials of whatever city I'm in, let's say Sacramento right now. If I'm trying to work, I'm trying to open up business and I'm a newbie into this and I need all the help I could get. The last thing I want to do is have not a good rapport with the city officials because they know all the answers to my questions. Keep that in mind, people. It's not this hard. It's not hard to figure this out. Why burn the bridges? If Marianne is the lady who I got to see, right? Why? I need to have a good rapport with her because she's going to show me how to make my dreams, my aspirations easier. Am I correct, Marianne?
That's correct. So, in a nutshell, I just don't think these people are out for any malice. They
Mm,
come out, they do their
no.
job, and if you meet all their requirement, like he said, the final stage is the the final stage is called final approval. This is where you get your occupancy certificate, where you get the green light. It's a seal of approval that everything has met government requirement, and you are in the green to either open a church, open a school, open a hospital, open whatever the building is designed to do. It's ready to start functioning. So I hope us bringing him. I wish we had more time. We
Mm,
could have him elaborate a little bit more for us. And I know his accent was heavy, but I think he answered the questions that we had. And if any of our guests wants to do a replay, because sometime with what I've learned with people with a very heavy accent, a
right.
replay makes it easier to comprehend and kind of get exactly what is it that they're saying.
Right.
Yes. But um, thank you for everybody who tuned in. I hope this was enlightening. I hope we shed some light on the process of getting to being approval, getting approval for occupancy of certificate. And again, I will try to coordinate with him. And I don't know if that's allowed, but I will ask if we could shadow an inspection, if that's allowed, or if they could
Or
give us
do a
permit.
demo inspection.
Yes, do a demo inspection, because
Hmm.
sometimes visual with the explanation even brings more clarity,
I
um,
agree. I agree.
and help us to understand the process. But I'm satisfied with what we got. I think
Right. Right.
he answered our question. He was pretty direct, and he's a key person
Hmm.
over there. So
Right.
I'm very pleased. I'm very, very pleased. And Manny,
Hmm.
can we please see your lovely smile? And can you tell us how you get that shining, bright smile?
Well, it's real simple. I use Crest 3D whitening. Okay. I had to make sure I say it right. All right.
That's
It's
right.
right.
They want you to say it right.
Vibrant brilliance. Okay. Keeps the brown out. See?
Hmm.
Keeps the brown out.
A
All
beautiful
right.
smile. So
If
I
you listen, your dental health is your wealth, y'all. Okay.
exactly.
Manny,
So
why you look so good? I started in my mouth.
so to all our channel member, Manny, can you please put that up again?
Okay, I'll do it one more again for you.
Yeah.
Pow!
To all our
Right in your
channel
face.
member, if you're wondering this beautiful crystal white shiny smile Manny has, this is the brand. Chris, bring it closer to the camera so they can see it, please, Manny. There you go. Bring it down. Chris 3D White. Yes. Crest 3D White. I apologize.
Brilliance.
Yes,
For
brilliant.
brilliant people. You want your mouth to be brilliant along with your brain.
Okay, thank you. If you guys want, stop at your local Walmart, your local CVS, your local drugstore, and grab a tube.
Keep
And
that mouth clean.
thank you for joining Urban Corner. We like to bring you the hot topic of what's being talked on the street. Until next time next week,
Wait, I
Manny,
gotta give my father word. Let me give my father word. Can I give
it's
my father word?
what's your
All right,
final word?
there you go, right here. A building inspector is not someone who walks through a property with a clipboard. A building inspector is an authorized official whose job is to examine construction sites and existing structures to make sure they comply with local, state, and national building codes, zoning ordinances, and safety regulations. They inspect projects at different stages to verify that the work is being done properly, legally, and safety. Because when a building goes up or a project is being used, the question is not whether or not it looks finished. The real question is whether it meets the standards by law. That is where the building inspector comes in. I need y'all to understand where I'm going with this. Please. Go ahead,
Thank
sis.
you, thank you for that clarification. I hope that ties it in. I hope we made this process a little bit more clearer for our audience. And like I said, I will follow up with him again and try to get, this was last minute. We are so grateful he granted us the interview, but I will definitely try to do a follow up. I'm very excited we're able to bring that to our channel member. And thank you, everybody. Until next week, Thursday, Manny.
Love, peace,
Peace.
and hair grease. And mouth this piece. I'll holler at y'all. I love y'all. Keep up the good work. Everybody out there doing great things. Shout out to my sister. I'm just glad to say I love y'all. And I hope y'all love me back. Peace.
Right. Love and peace. Thank you, Manny. Until next week, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday at Urban Corner to have conversation with Manny and Marianne. Good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.